I want to ask you this. When you look at Darius Garland, what do you, in your opinion, has he most improved on this year? And kind of what do you think that has meant for the Cavs, who are very much in the thick of the top 6 race in the East, and frankly, one of the more kind of improved teams this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think broadly, it's the scoring aggression. I think it's really taken off since Colin Sexton went down. Maybe even a little more in terms of just offensive aggression since Ricky Rubio went down. They're kind of different players, of course. Both were important to the Cavs offense, and I think that's often manifested, primarily through he's just hunting more threes. The 3-point rate's up, I think, about 10 points this year. Not quite as efficient from three, but that tends to happen because I think last year, especially, and even his rookie year, he was so kind of like looking for the best 3-pointer, and he would pass out of some looks. And this year, he's realized, maybe I miss a couple, but if I take them, it's a good shot. So that's what stood out to me. I think the passing's a little bit sharper, but that was incredible last year as well. I think his assist numbers are up this year, and I think maybe his assist to turnover ratio is up a little bit. But I think that's largely the product of having better players around him. Kevin Love's been better this year. Evan Mobley, obviously, is a very good play finisher around the rim. We know what he can do with Jared Allen. I think, so again, a little bit sharper, but that doesn't really stand out much. The passing was something that I really, really liked last year. So to me, it's just being more aggressive, and he's a really, really awesome shooter. He's been a little better around the rim too. Like, he's not forcing things as much at the rim this year, and he's playing with more craft too. Like, I think fewer of his shots are coming there, but is shooting maybe 5 or 6 points better depending on what database you use for shots around the rim. Everyone has, I think basketball reference is 0-3, and then NBA.com is like 0-4 within the restricted area. But regardless, definitely a leap there in terms of efficiency. So whether it's taking more threes or being a little more discretionary around the rim, but better when he gets there, and then also just being an awesome mid-range shooter this year on increased volume all around, scoring wise. That's where I see the biggest leap, and it's especially been prevalent since Colin Sexton went down a couple months ago.
Yeah, the 3-point thing, I think, is the key to note here, because it's 9% above overall, according to Clean of the Glass. That takes him from about the 39th percentile among guards to 56th percentile, so he's above the average mark in terms of 3-point rate. And the biggest change has been non-corner threes. So 37% of his shots this year are non-corner threes. That's up from 26% a year ago. And as you alluded to, he's taking 9% fewer shots at the rim, and he's still been more effective. His effective field goal percentage is a little bit up this year. The mid-range, is a little bit, is about the static, and it's really been the 3-point volume where his shots have come in. That's kind of an interesting place, because I think there's not all reasons that are him, right? Like, I think Jared Allen being someone he can just throw a lob to, and it's probably going to be a dunk or a foul attempt for Jared Allen, is probably a reason why he's maybe not shooting as much of them, just because that pass just tends to always be there. And Mobley, I think certainly their chemistry is, like, we saw a really nice cut from the corner from Mobley against the Thunder on Saturday, where that might have been a shot for Garland, but Mobley cuts in from the corner. It's an easy dunk. You just take those easy points. The 3-point rate is just, I think, especially important for this team too, because this is not a well-spaced team. I love Isaac Okoro, not a plus shooter, may never be a plus shooter. Lamar Stevens is playing really well right now. Never probably going to be a plus shooter. Lauri Markkanen is not shooting well at all. Like, he's just been cold, and he's been pretty up and down. Mobley's not a shooter yet. Allen's not a shooter. Kevin Love's been a good shooter. Jetty Osman's been much better this year. Rondo is not going to be once he plays, and Rubio was shooting well, but was already kind of coming down back to earth after he had a really, really hot start to the year. Garland, especially with Sexton out, Garland kind of has to do this. I don't really the Cavs offense is about average. It's fine. The real identity of this team is their defense. I don't know where this team would be. And when I think about Garland as an all-star candidate, when I think about him as someone who deserves maybe most improved player buzz, if depending on how you criteria that vote, I just don't know how you take away what the team is without his offensive leap and what he's doing offensively. I don't think their offense functions unless he's doing this. I don't are they a bottom 5 offense if he's bad or hurt or out? I don't know, because I don't know who else on this team they can trust to not just initiate things in a clean way and an effective way, but make threes like this and space the floor like this. Is Kevin do you have to go to Kevin Love 30 minutes a game? That's clearly not a sustainable thing at this point. I don't know what you would do unless Garland is doing kind of what we're seeing right now. And that's both, I think, terrifying a little bit, but also really, really impressive if you're looking at it from a Darius perspective.